Hello everyone, I am Mecha42, your favorite YouTube harpy, and there's a lot of little Star Wars, little excitement puff pieces out there. I want to throw a few of them all together just to kind of reminisce and kind of think, like, God, last year I was so excited for or was it last year? 2 years ago, I was so excited for The Last Jedi.
Greetings,
And
friends.
thank you so much for subscribing, Enough the World. We were so excited for The Last Jedi and Force Awakens, and now I'm like, oh God, what could have been? What we could have had something so good. And we have a whole bunch of little articles here that all tie into Star Wars Celebrations going on. We're gonna have a new trailer drop sometime this week, probably at Star Wars Celebration. I'm kind of heartbroken over all of this because I grew up with Star Wars and Star Trek and all of these awesome franchises. And like right here, this just kind of gets me. When we go around talking about it, just in like the Fandom Menace community. Also, shout out to everybody who's at Star Wars Celebration. I wish I were there. I love you guys. Love the High Council and everybody involved with all of the little channels. Huge channels. All the huge channels. I say little because we're not in the millions. We will be. All of us will be. Hopefully. But this stuff just makes me kind of sad that, we could have had something really, really good for episode 8, and we could have had something really good. Like, there were people that are saying, no, do this, and nobody listens, and this is what happens when you have these people like Rian fucking Johnson who don't listen, right? Demonetized for saying F. So this just confirms, right? This confirms stuff that we've been saying in the little Star Wars communities for a while, with rumors, with tweets, with all the investigative journalism that the people are actually doing behind the scenes. And yeah, now JJ Abrams is admitting that Rian Johnson took Star Wars 8 in a different direction. And of course there's news that Rian Johnson says, oh yeah, do whatever you want. Go ahead, do whatever you want with your Star Wars movie. I just want to sit back and be entertained. Well, I think Rian Johnson might have gotten a little talking to. He might have gotten a dressing down. He might have got something. He might have gotten a talking to before that. Oh, you cannot engage with people. For Star Wars Celebration, you cannot engage negatively to the fans. You can't do any of that. Because that's what I would do if I were his boss. Star Wars Episode 9 director JJ Abrams admits his original ideas for the film that would eventually become The Last Jedi. See, I skipped around. My eyes went down to that. I'm like, wait, does that say 8? I'm very dyslexic, by the way, with like numbers, and Roman numerals for some reason fall into that. But his ideas for Last Jedi were very different than what Rian Johnson ended up doing with the project. Johnson was hired for episode 8 job way back in June of 2014. Tasked with a continuing story, Abrams began with 2015's The Force Awakens. Few would have predicted it at the time, but The Last Jedi infamously went on to be one of the most divisive blockbusters in recent memory, with Johnson's bold and risky creative choices acting as a lightning rod for countless debates. Giving a lot of us something to do on YouTube. No, that's an understatement. We brought the community together because of this crappy movie. Between that and Star Trek and all of these things that are Doctor Who, everything out there is just kind of getting the big FU from the corporations to the fans who've been paying for it for all this time, right? It is sad, and this is why we found each other. This is why we have the communities that we have, and this is why we can keep talking and speaking out about this, because maybe we'll change something. Maybe we'll get something fixed, right? During the build-up to The Last Jedi, Johnson stated he had a tremendous amount of leeway while working on the movie. Thanks, Kathleen Kennedy. Thanks for not keeping a closer watch on your little buddy there. Having only to use The Force Awakens as a jumping off point, obviously. Well, why couldn't have you used the original trilogy? Or the prequel trilogy? Why couldn't have you used those as kind of some inspiration? Because it doesn't even seem like he watched them. Well, Lucasfilm didn't mandate Johnson follow any preconceived plot points, which they should have. They really should have. That doesn't mean there wasn't any brainstorming going on in regards to what the sequel trilogy could do, where it could go next. Daisy Ridley once revealed that Abrams mapped out drafts of the remaining 2 chapters, but popular belief is that Johnson went in his own direction. Abrams has now said that's the case. See, this is what I was talking about. We knew this from Daisy Ridley saying that, yeah, he had it all written out. And of course we have this little bit of news, right? We'll get into that too. I didn't want to do just one because there's so much little Star Wars stuff, and we're gonna have the big news hit once we get the trailer dropping, once we get all the big meat of Star Wars Celebration coming in. In an interview with Fast Company, that in part touched on Abrams' return to Star Wars. The director talked about having to follow Johnson's film in order to serve up a satisfying conclusion to the Skywalker saga. I had some gut instincts about where the story would have gone, but without getting in the weeds on episode 8, that was a story that Rian wrote and was telling based on 7 before we met. So he was taking the thing in another direction. So he does so instead of and. I got to do a JJ Abrams so count. Anytime he starts a sentence with so we got 2 of them. So he was taking the thing in another direction. So we also had to respond to episode 8. So, wow, he does it just like Alex Kurtzman does with the ands on his Discovery interviews. They're both from Bad Robot, so maybe they have some sort of weird sort of way they communicate with each other. So, our movie was not just following what we had started, it was following what we had started and then had been advanced by someone else. And that's basically a nice diplomatic way of saying, yeah, Rian Johnson took what I did and threw it out the window, and he's a dirty son of a bitch for doing so. It is vital to understand that Abrams is not bemoaning or criticizing Johnson for doing his own thing, because you have to state that directly. How do we know? How do we know he's not just giving the most diplomatic answer because he has to work with these people, right? This is your coworker in a sense. That's what I would do if I have to work with somebody that I don't particularly care for. You say, oh yeah, no, he had to work with this. It's all good. He's merely explaining the film's story changed directions while it was in development, which isn't anything new for the film industry. You see, you have to point that out, though. You really have to point that out. Because actually, it is kind of new for the film industry to start making the sequel before you even get the one released, or to give somebody a trilogy of movies before their own movie is released. Arguably, it's for the best that Lucasfilm gave Johnson the freedom to break away. Really? From Abrams' gut instincts. Is it really the best? Because that divided the fandom. I disagree 1000%. That divided the fandom. That really destroyed your franchise. That made news. That made some enemies, I think, in Disney from Rian Johnson. Oh, Lord. Yeah, later that year, Simon Pegg hinted that Abrams had a different idea for Rey's parentage, but fans will likely never know the full extent or variances between the two visions. So, this is related, of course, to this article where Rian Johnson doesn't care Star Wars Episode 9, retcons The Last Jedi. I was gonna talk about this article. Did I talk about this article? Fuck, I don't even remember. I make so many videos. I know I was going to. So basically, he gives a little interview here. Like I said, man, I want to let go of my expectations. I want to sit back. I want to be entertained. I want to be surprised. I want to be thrilled. I want him to do stuff I wasn't expecting him to do and just go along for the ride. For me, that's why I go to the movies, So that's what Rian Johnson said in an interview he gave not too long ago about the whole, are you okay with JJ Abrams retconning The Last Jedi for you? I think that's a very diplomatic answer. I don't think he's happy with it. I think maybe he got a talking to and somebody said, yes, yes, you have to be diplomatic. You have to say this. You cannot engage with the fans. You cannot say anything bad about JJ Abrams. You have to watch what you're doing. So I think that's what happened. I really, really think that's what happened, because a lot of the time, that's the thing that happens. And now we get into the sad part of the video. Like I said, there's a lot of little articles. I don't want to just do one little thing and do like 10 5-minute videos for you. I want to do a good 12-minute one. Star Wars, Mark Hamill claims he pitched a different role for Luke in The Force Awakens. So this comes from an interview with Variety, or the Hollywood Reporter. This is from Mark Hamill's own words, and comicbook.com. Line up like the other one does. Please line up like the other one does. Everyone talks about the shock of realizing that on Force Awakens, I don't come in until the last page. A bigger shock to me was them killing Han Solo before Luke could ever see his best friend again, Hamill shared with the Hollywood Reporter. I mean, it might be selfishly motivated, but I said, holy cow, that's a real missed opportunity. Ding, 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 ding. Right on the nose. I don't have a ding, ding, ding. I just have one. You're right on the nose there. You really needed those, like, you need to give the fans something that they want, right? This is like this is why I get so teary when I see Cobra Kai trailers or Godzilla King of the Monsters, because they're bringing Ghidorah out of if you guys are a kaiju fan, I'm a huge kaiju fan. They're bringing King Ghidorah out of ice through a freaking volcano, and he's getting, like, going after Godzilla. He's got lightning attacking and hitting every point of his wings next to Godzilla in a giant city. They're going all out for fan service in those trailers. You need to give the fans something to cheer for in the theater. You need to give them that yes moment. Had Luke use the Force to lift his little ship out of the water when Rey got there and said, "Hey, we need you." Had he been like, "Oh," and he looked over and he reached, I need the camera. He reached and it just started, like, the water started to pour off. Oh, that would have made me cry in the theater. Same thing having Han, Luke, and Leia all together, right? So he goes on, even having the three of us together, even briefly. I pitched Abrams the idea of, you can still have me come in at the very end, but how about this? How about Leia's trying to contact me telepathically and she gets frustrated because there's no answer. She rushes to the new Death Star. That's 3 so far, he continued. And she almost gets there, but she gets stopped by 2 stormtroopers, and just before she's abducted, one stormtrooper turns to the other one, blows him away, pulls off his helmet and says, "Hi sis, I'm here to rescue you." I say, "It'll blow the roof off the joint. I'm still in it at the very end." Yes. Why couldn't we do that stuff? Given Hamill's legacy with the series, his idea for the franchises are valid. And of course, there's a lot of news dumps for Star Wars. When will we get the trailer updated? They're saying by the end of the week now for the trailer. I get so sad when I think of, like, what we could have had. And, at least we still have stuff like Cobra Kai looks amazing. Godzilla looks amazing right now. Shazam was really good. It was a fun movie. It's not like a 10 out of 10 movie. It's really fun, though. And in comparison to Captain Marvel, it does the job. It hits the spot. It's just what you need, right? It's just what the doctor ordered. No, bad Mecha. Don't make commercial references that no one's gonna get. The point is, It was fun. It was really, we could have had fun with Star Wars. We could have had one of those, oh my God, moments, I want to go on that journey with these people because they're like family to me. I've known these characters my entire life. You guys have known these characters your entire life. And if we don't get something good in episode 9, I'm not going to be surprised, because we know it's all going to be focused on Rose Tico or Finn, Poe, Rey, Kylo Ren, all these new people that are going to give Bad Robot the merchandising rights. That's one thing for sure. Because let's face it, they don't get the merchandising probably from the original, just like Star Trek, Wow, watch Midnight's Edge for all those rights videos and stuff, but what do you guys think? Would have you rather had Han, Luke, and Leia? I know you guys would have. Nobody in their right mind is going to say, no, I liked The Last Jedi the way it was. Nobody is. And if you do, you're being paid by Lucasfilm and your name's Swankmotron, or Spankmotron as we call him. And, go check out Ichibaka's Star Wars is Dumb. If you have if you want to know who that is, because that's just an obscure little thing. I don't want to make a whole video on the guy because I don't think he's worth my time. Swankmotron, Ichibaka deserves a whole video made about him. Total friend of the Phantom Menace. Gotta definitely shout him out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am Mecha Random 42, P.O. Box 1566, Loveland, Colorado 80539. And while I couldn't get to Star Wars Celebration, maybe, just maybe, with your guys' help, I can get to the biggest Star Trek convention in Las Vegas at the end of the year. I have a GoFundMe started already. The official Star Trek 2019 convention. If I hit 25% of this, if I hit $500 by the end of the week, I will go ahead and get tickets. Anything else is going to be for like food, expenses, travel, blah, hotel, all that stuff, taxis. I really, really regret not getting tickets to Star Wars Celebration, but damn it, I don't want to regret not getting tickets to Star Trek. Because as much as, at the end of the day, we still love these franchises. This is why we still talk about them. We're still passionate about the crap we grew up with, because I'm surrounded by it. I'm surrounded by it. And I know you guys are too. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys on the next video or live stream. Bye! Thanks for watching! If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!